When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
The sky is almost white with the light of the universe, with the uncountable number of stars. But it has a lot of variation to it, even just with the naked eye.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics.
The sky is almost white with the light of the universe, with the uncountable number of stars.
I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see. I don't remember seeing any.
Uncountable number of stars.
I don't remember seeing any.
I swear I'm fighting you. That's all, that's all. That's all, that's all. I'm on it. I'm higher than you. I'm on it. I swear I'm fighting you. That's all, that's all. That's all, that's all.
The sky, of course, was black, but it had sort of a velvet sheen to it.
You know, there are a lot of lights out there. There are a lot of stars, and they're all fixed relative to each other. There are a lot of stars.
The sky, of course, was black.
There are a lot of stars.
We all were created from stars. Everything is star stuff. This pizza, this cheese, and this pepperoni is stars. We're all, Oh, how is that made from stars?
You don't see stars in the daytime on Earth, not because they're not there, but because the atmosphere is aglow with scattered light from the sun. If you take away the atmosphere, the sun will still be there, but the sky goes dark. That's what the folks get when they go to the edge of the atmosphere, and they're calling that the edge of space. But when you get to the edge of the atmosphere is no longer between you and the rest of the universe, and the stars reveal themselves just as they would at night. Since the moon has no atmosphere, then a daytime picture, if you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well.
Anyone could get a PhD for a flat fee.
But when you get to the edge of the atmosphere, the stars reveal themselves just as they would at night. If you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well. The daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well.
I was just a systems engineer on a well-functioning spacecraft coming home. And so, sure, I had work to do, but not nearly as pressing as before. And we were oriented such that we were rotating to keep thermal balance on the spacecraft, and oriented in such a way that every 2 minutes, the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, and a 360-degree panorama of the heavens appeared in the cabin window. And that was awesome. It was an overwhelming experience. And we have to realize that in space, without the intervening atmosphere, the heavens are 10 times as bright, stars 10 times as numerous, because there's no atmosphere to block the light.
When you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine. Darkest black you can imagine. When you're in space and you're looking into deep space and you're on the sun side of the orbit, the sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth.
And when you look to your right, there's the whole universe, just right there, going on forever. Just the inherent beauty of it, the velvet, bottomless bucket of the universe.
And then when you're outside doing a spacewalk and you have that one or two opportunities where you can let your eyes adjust, you can start to notice that some of the stars have colors we don't see here on the ground.
It's just this glowing, raging explosion of color in like just hanging there in a vast sea of darkness, and the most frightening darkness that you could ever imagine.
Bright material, you know, the earth the bright white sun in a black sky. Huge spacecraft above me. Bright white sun in a black sky.
So I looked at Earth and saw the cosmos, all the entire universe laid out before me, with this tiny little planet and millions and billions of stars and galaxies and galactic clusters, all laid out in such magnificent array.
And we could not see stars.
Millions and billions of stars.
And we could not see stars.
Millions and billions of stars and galaxies.
The biggest visual surprise was just how black the sky was. You have a brilliant sun, brighter than any sun you normally would see, even here in New Mexico. You have these extraordinarily high mountains. We were in a valley deeper than the Grand Canyon. But then you have this black sky, a sky blacker than black. It's the old Vidicon expression used to be.
When you get up on a clear night in Colorado, up in the mountains where there's no light and you can see all these stars, well, multiply that by 1,000. That's what it's like in space.
I've often tried to explain the difference between darkness, when you turn out the lights and it's dark in here, or blackness. Blackness is the endlessness of it all. It's hard to comprehend.
I swear I'm fighting you. That's up. Take off. That's up. I'm on it. I'm higher than you. I'm on it. I swear I'm fighting you. That's up. Take off. That's up.
Asked me this question many times. Does Tim have a telescope like the one I've got, or is it better? Noah, what's your question to Tim, please?
If he has a telescope.
We don't have a telescope, but we do have several pairs of binoculars which are stabilized so that we can use them for some astronomy as well as looking at the Earth. And some of our cameras have some really large lenses on them, and so we can kind of see down to a very fine detail. We can almost see something as small as your house or your garden through those camera lenses. So no telescopes, but plenty of optics to help us look at the stars and to look at Earth.
Just gives us that perspective of looking down on the Earth and realizing that we are in an orbiting spaceship, and that when I look out at the stars and I see, so many stars and planets.
I do realize that when you were on the moon, you had very little time for gazing upwards. But could you tell us something about what the sky actually looks like from the moon, the sun, the Earth, the stars, if any, and so on?
The sky is a deep black.
The sky is almost white.
You know I love the truth, and I hate a lie. You gotta show me proof. I opened up my eyes. No, this ain't a spoof, so please be advised. Cause I see a dome roof sitting in the skies. This ain't a goof. Let me define why the earth's flat, so you can realize. Reality, it won't be televised. So don't be shocked, don't be surprised.
The sky is a deep black. The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible. Myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible.
And there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the Milky Way
you see
galaxy.
the Magellanic Cloud.
The Earth is quite beautiful from space and from the moon. It looks quite small and quite remote, but it's very blue and covered with white lace of the clouds, and the continents are clearly seen, although they have very little color from that distance.
Yeah.
And then you can see the zodiacal lights.
Whoa.
Those are amazing, right before
the lights
sunrise.
of the zodiac?
The lights of the zodiac, the zodiacal lights, okay? You can see
About the sun, could you see any trace of the corona?
No, the glare from the sun on the helmet visor was too difficult to pick out the corona. The only time we could see the corona was during an eclipse of the sun from the moon. That is, when we were flying through the moon's shadow and could observe the solar corona peeking out from behind the moon.
Looking at the photographs that you brought back, the colored photographs of the moon's surface, it seems that the color of the surface actually varies.
Yes, it certainly does. It's a characteristic that we observe first while traveling around the moon in orbit. You could see that at the terminator, at the boundary between the black part of the moon and the lighted part of the moon, it was as if you were looking at a television set with the contrast turned to full contrast, very black and very white.
NASA, 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 NASA. Headline. Yeah. Headline. Yeah.
As you moved further into the light, there were more and more shades of gray. But as you moved further, such the sun was higher above the horizon, you actually start to see the tans and browns appear, although at a very low level. Similarly, on the surface of the moon, the same characteristic is evident. You can see browns if the sun is high enough. Apollo 12, for example, when they arrived, they saw no browns or tans anywhere, only fairly high contrast grays. But also the next day, when they arose from their sleeping period and the sun was higher, of course, then the browns were observable to them. No observable differences in color. Well, the color is a puzzling phenomenon on the moon. You generally have the impression of being on a desert-like surface with rather light-colored hues. At close range, as if in your hand, you find it's a charcoal gray, in fact, and we were never able to find any things that were very different from that color.
Thank you very much, and again, let me say what a tremendous honor and privilege it's been to have you with us.
Thank you.
Rebecca, if there's anything wrong, just give me a sign. Just any kind of sign. I'll keep on the lookout for it.
Well, as we approached the moon, I could look out and I could see the moon start to grow bigger real fast. In that time, I could see it was a sphere.
Pear-shaped.
I could see it was a sphere.
Pear-shaped.
No, the moon at night here looks flat because of the lighting characteristics. The moon is like, in fact, the ancient Romans thought it was a shield, not a ball. But it really was a ball, and we were really going to go around it.
It, of course, is absolutely spherical.
Pear-shaped.
Spherical.
Pear-shaped.
Spherical.
Information gained from Vanguard 1 has enabled us to determine the true shape of our Earth. It is slightly pear-shaped.
Would each of you give us your estimate of what is the meaning of this to all of us?
You want to try that?
After you.
I just see it as a beginning. Not just this flight, but in this program, which has really been a very short piece of human history. An instant in history, the entire program. It's a beginning of a new age.
Are you afraid for the truth to come out?